Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode. This is the solo group hardcore Ironman team size 4. Let's just go ahead and go over what I'm currently working on here. Lately I've jumped onto Guardians of the Rift across 2 accounts. So, why do I do that on 2 accounts? Why not do it on all 4? Well, it's an extremely click intensive mini game at times. So, it's very often that I will need to focus solely on one account at a time and empty room pouches, turn them into, craft them at the altar, empty room pouches, keep repeating that action, right, as you do in runecrafting. And so it can be very click intensive. So I'm choosing to just alt on the side, do some AFK stuff. So, working on 99s in terms of woodcutting fletching. But my main is actually here doing the maples. Currently, I just had a stack of like 25,000, so I'm just fletching a ton of them. I'm trying to get to the 90, I think 5 fletching to be able to work on the Elite Desert Diary. So, as you know, I've been doing Hydra, and amongst doing Hydra, I've been doing some clues, like elite clues and hard clues, and I actually got a master clue step that requires a dragon two-hander. So I figured, well, while I'm skipping tasks for Hydra from Konar, she can't assign Calphites in the Calphite layer, which means I can do Calphite Queen. And I looked at the Dragon 2H on the wiki, and it says the only drop sources are from literally just the wilderness monsters. So there are obviously tons of bosses in the wilderness that will drop a Dragon 2H, but that's obviously out of the question for me. So my option is the Calphite Queen only. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on that. I currently got a task of like 150 Calphites, and Konar assigned them in the Calphite layer, which is the Calphite Queen's layer. And there's the only one other location where you can get Calphites from her, and that's the task only Calphite cave, which is just the one where there's just a bunch of lower level Calphites and some medium level ones where you can usually cannon in there. You can get some good Slayer XP there, but there's no Queen in there. So that's currently what we're kind of sitting on. That's why I'm not doing Hydra, and that's why I'm scaling, is because I'm pretty sure I have the head already from doing 50 kill counts, so I can do the Elite Diary based on having that head and mounted in my POH. But I don't have the other stats, so a couple of the stats is going to be 91 Thieving, that's not boostable, that is to steal from one of the highest levels in the Pyramid Plunder minigame, and you can't boost that, unfortunately. So I will have to go click some Arty Knights for 83 to 91 on this account. And then there's a huge fletching requirement of 95 to fletch dragon darts somewhere in the desert. I guess that's just all it says. You just need 95 fletching, but you can boost it. So I can easily make what's called a dragon fruit pie, because dragon fruits are very common from farming, and I can make one of those, and it should boost my fletching by a guaranteed 4 levels. So right now the goal is to just get 91 and be able to complete that diary step, and then work on 91 thieving as well, and easily be able to finish off the Elite Diary. And now that would unlock a huge shortcut to doing Calphite Queen. So typically, I'm going to be doing hundreds of Calphite Queen. You got to realize that it's a huge run. It's a very, very long, windy run back. And because the Calphite Queen does so much damage and is unavoidable by tank gear, she hits through all defense that you could possibly have. It's pretty easy. It's very easy to take tons of damage per kill, meaning your inventory most likely will be consumed on food, and you will have to basically just do tons of bank trips, bringing more food and supplies back, because she will just chew through all your supplies. So if I'm going to be running many trips back and forth from the bank to complete this Dragon two-hander hunt, then I figured, well, I may as well get the agility shortcut for it on the account that's going to be doing that task. So That's why I stopped doing Hydra, is because I am, you know, looking to finish these skilling goals and knock them out of the way so that I have this elite diary. It's also a 50k experience lamp that will come with every elite diary, so that's nice. Probably throw that on, maybe agility, I guess, at this point. I think agility is my best bet because it's a very annoying, like, click intensive skill. Like every few seconds your account returns to idling and basically standing still. And for playing on 4 accounts at once, it's going to be one of the more tedious skills to train. So I'll probably throw it on that. Other options are like runecrafting or herb lore or prayer. But honestly, prayer's kind of knocked out of the park with all these Hydra bones, and I can always use the ash spell as well on Slayer tasks that drop ashes. So I'm kind of okay on prayer. Herb lore, again, I just have thousands of herbs rolling in. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many herbs I've recently cleaned and have ready to put into potions right now. It's an absurd amount. I'm currently waiting on a huge herb lore day or weekend or week. Basically, it's going to take multiple days to complete all of this. But yeah, it's because I have Kingdom rolling in on 3 accounts, and I have tons of herbs from other sources like doing Hydra. Hydra is dropping me a ton of herbs. Raids will drop herbs. And I'm doing tons of farming runs, so I always do, all of the herb patches in every farming run that I do, and that ends up just stacking up tons and tons of herbs, basically. And then I get these huge stacks. I have to clean them all, and then I, use the desert perk for the hard diary, put them in unfinished potions for about 200 GP each, which is totally worth it, and yeah, go from there. Then it's just smashing them together. So yeah, probably put the lamp onto agility simply because I do want to get higher agility on these accounts. There's a couple of shortcuts, and again, they kind of did this with a small rework to agility shortcuts. They made a lot of these shortcuts a lot nicer to use. One of them, again, being the Hydra shortcut, so it is very relevant for me to get higher agility. But I have been doing a ton of Hydra without access to that shortcut. It's the one that takes you from like the start of the dungeon to all the way in the back with the Hydra. So yeah, it used to have like a huge long black screen loading screen that really slowed down and made that shortcut actually just not even fast. It was like the same speed as just running there through the small hydras. But they did a small rework on a lot of agility shortcuts across the board, and it's a lot more zoomy. Like, you don't have that huge loading time, so it ends up actually being worth it to have the agility level. And it's actually a time save, considering how many times I have to bank for Hydra per task. Probably like 10 to 15 trips I'm doing, depending on the resource drops. So, yeah, but currently, yeah, we are just honing in on this elite desert diary so that we can just get that one dragon two-hander, right? All I need is one. I don't need 4. I don't need each account to have one in their bank at all times. I can store these items in the group storage. That's one of the huge luxuries that I've had with building up these accounts, is that I can just share the one item, right? Like I did this with mithril boots, right, from jellies. There's a clue step that requires myth boots. But, for something like that, I can easily just barrage those warp jellies in the catacombs and get multiple pairs of myth boots and then just keep one on each account, right? And rather than having to share such an easy and common item to get. But when it comes to a Dragon Two-Hander, it's like a 1 in 256 from Calphi Queen. So, it might take ages to get multiple, therefore I have no problem just after I do the clue step. I won't build the hidey hole, obviously. I will just need to throw it in the group storage for any other account that might stumble on that same step, and then withdraw it for them. So, yeah, and alongside this fletching and thieving grind, I've decided I need to kind of knock out some of these lower level runecrafters, and one of them is, or one of the goals rather for runecrafting is to just get to 77 with the full Temple of the Eye outfit from Guardians of the Rift, and just unlock the ability to park any account there from 77 to basically 99 doing Zaya runecrafting. It's an extremely AFK, chill, very very side monitor altable type of activity, where you just chisel off the dense essence, and then you eventually bring them over to the dark altar. You make an inventory, you go back, you get that second inventory as you chisel them down, and you go from there. And there's no aggression, there's no monsters on the way, so it's just completely AFK. If I need to look away entirely while raiding or doing PVM, it's a perfect little side alt project to kind of work on and have access to. So I am definitely trying to reach that stage for these accounts in terms of the runecrafting. So these two accounts happen to be roughly around the same runecraft level. It's pretty crazy how after all this time, over a year of playing these accounts, they ended up being about 69.5-ish runecraft level just from Tears of Guthix. So I literally had done that all from Tears of Guthix. The minigame, you collect tears and then you will get experience in your lowest skill at the time. You're literally your lowest leveled skill, and that's always been runecrafting basically, except for this one account with 95. But he'll get something in like agility or smithing or something. So but yeah, the other accounts, basically it all goes into runecrafting because I had put the least time into RC on them, and I got all the way up to basically 70 just from Tears of Guthix rewards. So I come in here, I have access to 3 of the pouches. I've been working on, currently I've been doing Guardians of the Rift for a couple days now, so I'm actually a little bit higher than that. I just reached 75, so I have access to a better pouch, which is the giant pouch. It's the final pouch here to be able to store the essence in. And yeah, eventually we'll hit that 85 and we can use the colossal, but by then I will definitely be out of this minigame. My goal is to just get the full outfit and then leave, as well as the abyssal needle obviously in case I ever need it. But after that there's literally no more rewards that I will need. So we'll go over kind of what I do here in Guardians of the Rift, being on a duo session here. So the other accounts, they're just kind of alting on the side, very AFK. Redwoods, I can just fletch logs as I cut them, and the other account is just fletching at a bank, doing bank standing. So again, not too crazy. So what I like to do is I like to always, in between rounds if possible, probably about once every 2 games, I like to go out and loot at least like 5 to 10 rewards while I'm waiting for the portal to open back up and enter. Make sure that you get back into the game though before not too long, because these worlds are typically maxed out, and I have entity hider on so you can't see all the other players, but this is a full world with nearly 200 players coming in, so yeah, it can fill up very quickly. So I like to make sure that that time to start, once it hits 30 seconds, that's when it lets you back in the minigame. So I like to make sure that I'm basically ready, and I have to manage 2 accounts, so I try to get one banked and prepared again, pulling out a new binding necklace because I do combo runes in here, and then work on the other account once that one is like waiting at the gate ready to go in. Yeah, so kind of going to be going over what my sort of strategies are in here, especially being on 2 accounts. So first things first is you have to mine these remains here on this side. So there's a small agility shortcut here. It's like level 50 or something agility. It might be 55. Highly mandatory. I would say you should never do Guardians of the Rift if you don't have access to this, because you mine much more many more fragments in a short amount of time down here than you do up top, where there are things that you can mine, like these guardian parts up here. But they will mine these fragments much slower. So yeah, highly recommend that if you're going to start doing Guardians of the Rift, that you get the agility level for this shortcut here. And then besides that, yeah, you'll start every minigame just down here mining the larger mains for the first 100 seconds. So I have these timers at the top that let me know how long the minigame's been going on for. So once it hits 90 seconds, that's officially when I need to start watching. I need to get up out of this shortcut and start chiseling up some essence. So at about 100 is like the final, okay, I gotta get moving, because I want to make my first full inventory here for the first altar openings. So there's an elemental and a catalytic altar that open every 20 seconds, and the first set is about to open up right now. So basically I will, as I'm filling up on essence from chiseling it here, I will fill my pouches. So I do 2 at a time. I do the 2 vertically above one another at a time. So these pouches hold 3, 6, 9, and 12 each. So I actually have to strategically, use them at certain times, because your inventory is only so large, right? My inventory space is only at about 20 something spaces, right? Because I have so many inventory spaces. Like I have my rune pouch in the bottom right, I have these 4 pouches, I have a binding necklace, I have guardian fragments, I have water runes to be able to make the combo runes, I have typically 1 type of rune from crafting at times, so that's another -1, and then I have the fragments, which is just another -1. So yeah, I'm actually at about 20 I'm at about 20 open inventory spaces to be able to chisel essence and carry at any one time. So that's part of the minigame. That's why I find it very enjoyable, is there's a lot of like inventory management. There's a lot of skill when it comes to understanding like the routine here. So yeah, we want to take every random portal that opens. So there will be a portal that spawns, and that's what this timer is ticking up to. So when it's been only, it says here, time since portal, 20 seconds. That means it, just opened up. That's where I was mining from a different location. When you mine from that location, it seems like you're mining the same thing, like the fragments, but that's actually a special area where you can only access it through a portal. It's the left side here, and basically it allows you to directly mine like 5 or 6 essence at one time already made, so you don't need to chisel the fragments. You just start mining a full inventory worth of essence, and then you fill your pouches, you continue mining, you fill your other pouches, you continue mining until you're fully topped off with a round of essence ready to craft, and then you can exit the portal area and then continue with the mini game. So it's important to catch these portals, because it is much faster to mine the essence directly via going through the portal and mining those guardian remains there than it is to just camp more essence and chisel it down, because the chiseling process takes a very long time. It takes 1 game tick for every single essence that you want to chisel up. So it's much better to do it in heaps of like 4 and 5 that are already chiseled effectively. So you'll see me doing that a lot, and now you can see the timer, it's in the red and it just hit. So it just spawned a new portal up, and it says it's in the east, so that's what the E stands for. So I go to the new portal location, and I will just keep doing this. Every time a portal spawns is when I need to be ready to jump in. So I'll bring both accounts in, I start mining, and then I'll fill up. As my inventory is full, I'll fill 2 pouches. So the way that I stagger my pouches too is also part of the fun here, in that it's important to match them in pairs of 15. So that means I have to match the largest with the smallest, and then I have to match the second largest with the second smallest. So that way it's a 3 plus 12, which is 15, and then a 6 plus 9, which is 15. So basically, vertically speaking, the pouches that are vertically up above one another are the 2 that I do at a single time. Due to only having 20 spaces, or 18 or 19 at any time, The 15 is just that perfect sweet spot that allows me to, you know, fill up 2 pouches at once without having to have one partially full. Because, it's very annoying to say, okay, yeah, I can get 20 essence and I can fill 20 essence into pouches. But that's going to be an odd number to put into pouches. Like I could fill the 12 and the 3, which is 15, but then with that 4 or whatever left over that I have, I can only put 4 into the 6 or the 9 size pouch. So I would have to basically fill it again, click it again if I did that. Therefore, I make sure that when you fill a pouch, right, you want to do it in segments where it goes from completely empty to completely full. And that's a little bit obvious, but some people might not know that that's super super worth it. You don't want to be filling a pouch partially and then have to refill it later by clicking it again, because effectively you should be able to just do that in one fell swoop. So okay, so the portal is getting close here as the timer gets, and there it goes. So these are some fast portal spawns, because normally it doesn't spawn the instant that the timer changes to red in color. But we do have another fresh portal here, so let's go ahead in. There are some nice little upgrades you can get here. So alongside purchasing the Robes of the Eye set, which will increase the number of runes that you craft in any rune crafting across the game, which includes this minigame. But there are also some other rewards like the lantern. So I currently actually got a lantern. This is my first account that actually got a lantern. And what these lanterns are is you can put certain levels of logs into them depending on your fire making level, redwood being the highest at 90, and it will provide passive effects while you wear it during Guardians of the Rift, and only during this minigame. So it's a minigame exclusive buff that you can wear, although it is cool in fashion. You can just wear it anyway outside, but it will only provide the buffs into the minigame. So currently, yeah, you can look at the wiki. There's a huge list of what each buff does, but the best one is obviously redwood. So basically, as the higher you go up in fire making, the better your lantern passive effect can be. Even the oak and willow one are actually still quite good. However, they get much better at like yew and magic. So yeah, currently I sniped a lantern on one of these accounts here. So this account has a redwood lantern lit, and I'm receiving that passive buff, which one of the super super nice parts of having the maxed 90 fire making redwood lantern going is that my pouches literally never degrade. So that's one part of the buff. So that's extremely important, because as you can see, the other account without the lantern here, I'm just wearing a tome of water to save on water runes. They actually a 76 runecraft. Yeah, the account without the lantern actually has a broken pouch slightly. This pouch has degraded and will hold less essence, so getting slightly less XP throughout the minigame and getting less rewards because of that. So it's just slightly less efficient to have to repair and work with this slightly broken pouch. But being on lunars, again, so there's a couple requirements I would say you would need for Guardians of the Rift. One is that agility shortcut, which is like 55 or something. You can look that up. It should be very easy to get. 50 something agility is not too hard. It might actually only be like 48, but I have a feeling it could also be 55. But yeah, get that before you ever try this minigame. And alongside that, I would say, yeah, lunars with the ability to at least use NPC contact. So NPC contact is fairly low level on the magic spellbook here. So yeah, level 67 magic for it. Not that hard to get. Magic is a very fast skill when you're doing it through Slayer or damaging monsters. So yeah, I would say, yeah, 100% required to get the agility shortcut and have the ability to repair your pouches here by using NPC contact, because if you can't use NPC contact, then your pouches will degrade, and you'll be doing this mini game basically with broken pouches for basically ever, because you would never be able to repair them unless you did a trip all the way out to the Dark Mage in the Abyss. Now, there is a way, I guess, you can pay Abyssal Pearls to repair a pouch, I think, with the NPC, but in my opinion, not worth it, because you're just going to need lunars anyway. So yeah, another side part of having lunars is there's the magic imbue spell, which allows you to craft combo runes instead of just normal airs, waters, fires, and earths. Like you cast magic imbue, and what it does is it bypasses the need for a talisman to do combo runes. So normally, to craft combo runes, like if you're doing lava runes just as a training method, where you use a Dol Arena, you teleport to the Dol Arena area and you run north to the fire altar, you have to actually use an earth talisman when you mash them together, and it requires that every single time you use the altar. So if you're using pouches too, you're going to need an extra talisman for every time you open up your pouches. And yeah, that can be very, very annoying, but the magic imbue spell just bypasses that. You can use combo runes without a talisman, and since I'm doing it 2 or 3 times because of my pouches, emptying pouches after the first inventory's worth and then the other 2 pouches to do it a 3rd time, that would mean I need 3 talismans, which is ridiculous. So yeah, no way to craft combo runes without this spell, in my honest opinion. Maybe if you're a main account just training it outside of the game, outside of this mini game, you can get by for a little bit, but in the end you will want, if you ever do combo runes like lavas for XP, you want to use magic imbue. Although, to be fair, if you're going to be doing runecrafting just solely for XP, you may as well just come to Guardians of the Rift, because there's a huge XP drop at the end of the minigame every time that gives you like a huge amount. Like right now I'm getting like 3.5 thousand XP just from the minigame finishing. Now obviously these are like 10-minute minigames, each game lasts like 10 minutes, but that huge XP drop at the end makes it so worth it. So okay, so I mined for about 100 seconds here, and I see my shard stack getting to the point where I have enough to do about 3 sessions worth. So what I mean by that is to fully maximize my inventory and pouches, I can get about 50 essence into all my pouches and inventory. So I look at my shard stack here, my fragment stack, and I look at it in terms of multiples of 50. So as long as it's in a good multiple of 50, so like 150 plus, then that's totally fine, because that's 3 sessions worth of a full inventory plus pouches worth. And yeah, obviously I will mine a little bit in between as well, as I'm waiting for a portal or something. So okay, so we fully topped off our first inventory here. There's the first portal spawning, so I actually have to be very quick here. So because I'm on 2 accounts here, I need to 1 by 1 empty pouches and craft, and then as I'm exiting, I'm just going to go directly into the portal instead of dumping my energy in the center. So you have to dump off your 50 or whatever this elemental energy is every single time you craft it, because he will not let you go back into the altars area. He won't let you go into another altar if you have energy in your inventory. So basically every single time I craft, I basically immediately come and just click the center guardian, because then that dumps the energy off and then allows me to re-enter. So you have to do that. However, because the portal was getting low on the timer and it was about to close in 10 seconds or whatever, I had to make a decision there to my magic imbue ran out. It's very annoying. I had to make the decision to just wait on dumping them. I can do that after I mine at the portal location, and then I can dump the energy in afterwards and catch that portal. So yeah, very important to understand when the portals are closing on you, and sometimes you have to make that decision to just hang on to the energy. You will lose that one inventory space, but that's very unimportant typically, um, just because you you're still going to have like 48 or 49 essence running in, and that's especially with the 75 rune crafting with all 4 pouches. Yeah, so don't worry too much about having like one pair of lingering runes sitting around that you just crafted. If you didn't deposit them straight away, like don't worry about that. Don't worry about the energy lingering in your inventory. Um, what I would just prioritize is hitting your portals and just maximizing your pouches every single time, and then you should do just fine in this minigame. So it's been about 2 trips since the last portal, so there it is, the portal spawns. So I'll just dump off the energy real quick first, that way it's out of the way, and I will go through the portal here. So going through, start mining, and this is the nice part about the portal is that you don't use your essence, your fragments. You don't use your fragment stack to create the essence. You're just getting it for free on top of your stack. So my stack stays at this number that will allow me to craft another inventory worth later. So I basically get a full free session here to go craft with every time the portal opens. So let me explain kind of the rotation here of the portals. So I just came out of one and I crafted the runes with that essence. So now I'm out. So the timer is very low. It's about 20 to 30 seconds once I finish dumping my energy at the Guardian. So what's going to happen is you can do about 1 session in between every portal. So where I'm chiseling my own essence up. So I'm going to start chiseling essence here, and this is my one in between the portals that I can do, and that is so I'll use tons of my fragments, but that's what you have them for. So I will be filling my pouches with that as I'm just letting this timer rack up. So it's going up into the 90s and hundreds of seconds there. So at about 100 seconds, a portal is likely to spawn. So that is about perfect timing to do one little trip here of my own fragments into essence. And then when I come back out, the portal should be close to spawning. So I'm going to dump my energy in the center and get ready for a portal here. While I'm waiting, I'm just going to go mine some of these smaller Guardian parts because it could happen any second now. And it's okay to just stack up on fragments while I'm waiting. So this account has over 50, which is good because that's another session of my own chiseling. But this account over here has only 30 something, so I would like to get this up to 50 quickly before I enter the portal. So if I can wait until that's 50, but I may need to dip early here depending on if this portal runs out. Okay, 49 and one more, 52. Perfect. So let's go in the portal now. That account can also craft 50. And again, if I was solo, I would just treat my account like, I just did there, where I would wait until I had enough essence to enough fragments to chisel my own session of essence in between this portal. So this portal I'll come out of it, I have a fresh batch of essence, I'll use it, and then again, like I said, the rotation is that there's one session in between portal spawns where I have to use my fragments. So that's why I needed basically a stack of at least 50 so that I can do my own little session in between. So now that I'm waiting for portals, I will come back, I'll chisel, and you just repeat. So it's just like a 1-to-1 ratio where you do an inventory's worth in the portal, just mining it directly, and then you do a full inventory's worth with your fragments that you've collected, and you just keep repeating back to back. And this actually works even above 50 rune crafting when you only have access to the 3 pouches, so you don't have access to this giant pouch which holds 12. It still kind of works about that same like rotation where it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. You can sneak in, since you don't have to spend as much time filling all your inventory and pouches, when you have a pouch that you don't have the pouch that holds 12 essence, that takes a long time to chisel up 12 more essence. Well, so you can sneak in potentially a secondary self chiseling session there, where you chisel your own essence from fragments, but it will consume a ton of your fragments. So yeah, just be cautious. And while you're doing that, you're filling your inventory. If the portal's about to spawn, then you're basically gonna miss it and you're gonna waste it. So, because if you're already full on essence and then a portal spawns, well, you've just lost that portal opportunity, because by the time you can actually go use your essence that you've put in your pouches, you filled your inventory with from your own fragments, that portal is going to basically despawn by the time you come back from the altar and would be able to use it. So unfortunately, you will miss that portal opportunity. But again, that's happened to me. It's not a huge deal, but typically you want to just keep it in that 1-to-1 ratio of utilizing the portal every time it's available. And yeah, you should maximize your gains here in this mini game. So I'll kind of go over again exactly what one full game run through is. So as we end here, we're about to end this game. There's pretty much nothing left for me to do. The timer, well, the game's about to end, so the Guardian is maximized at 100% here, so that's when the mini game starts to end. You have about 5 to 10 seconds left to continue and turn in any energy you may have. So if I had energy, I would go dump it real quick, but I don't. I just dumped it in, so pretty much just waiting for the mini game to end, and there it does. So in between mini games, like I said, I like to clean up some of the rewards that I have. So my rewards are in segments of elemental and catalytic. You need a 1-to-1 ratio there to actually loot from the rewards. So that's why you're constantly in this mini game doing all types of runes. You got to do the elemental runes, which is your air, your water, your fire, your earth, or combo runes count for that type of energy. But then also you want to do your catalytics, so deaths whenever possible. Laws are great. Gnats are high up there. Cosmics, bodies, and mines also count as catalytic. And then of course blood runes, but you need a very high level to do bloods, which is 77. So for a long time you won't be able to do things like bloods or maybe even deaths at 65. So just do the highest catalytic one that you can, typically natures and laws, for a long time there until you get to 65 where you can do deaths. So at the start here, and I don't know if anyone's noticed yet, but the way that I start off is I come down the obstacle, I climb down this rubble, and what I do is as I'm running to the Guardian Remains, so I'll click, and then as I'm running to it, which takes about 1.5 seconds to run from here to the remains, and this is before the minigame starts, I want to go to my options and I want to click this house button after I've clicked the remains and as I'm running there. This will open up the house interface, which stalls you. It's just a very weird mechanic where basically it stalls me in the middle of running there, but I finish running there and then I stand at it still with my action to mine it queued up, but the interface is open, preventing me from continuing my queued up action to mine. Now when the minigame starts, so it counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and it starts, it actually closes all interfaces that you're in when it starts, which is a very unique thing, and it works out perfectly to then resume my queued up action. Therefore I start mining the instant that the minigame starts without fail, and that's a very nice way to start off this minigame. I recommend, even if you're just on one account, because it just guarantees that you start mining the instant that it starts, and you don't have to worry about like clicking as soon as the minigame begins, because that's when it would be available to start mining. So yeah, I highly recommend getting used to that, because it's just a neat little mechanic and it allows you to, again, just maximize how much you're mining from the get-go. So I mine to about 100 seconds on the time since Portal starts. and I will make my first little batch here of essence. So I'll fill 2 of the pouches up, start chiseling again, fill the other 2, which takes a lot of it out of my inventory, and then again repeating by filling up my inventory. So all my pouches are full. So now I'm going to finish filling up my base inventory, and then we're going to go. So it looks like air and body. So body is a terrible catalytic rune because it's lower on the XP, and it's just a useless rune, right? It's very cheap and useless. So I don't really want to do body runes ever. Therefore, I'm going to take the opportunity to work on elemental energy as part of my rewards here. So I got to craft some combo runes, mists, from that, and instead of going and crafting body runes, which would be kind of worthless. So oh, it looks like we actually lost the minigame here. So basically what can happen, and this will happen every now and then, is that when enough people aren't building the guardians, where you take the weak cells or whatever from you take these uncharged cells and build guardians, then you can actually lose the minigame within the first minute or so. So when that happens, basically you just restart. You start back at mining the guardian remains. Now this one ended and I was in the portal area. So one interesting thing is you can actually start in the portal area where you immediately mine the essence directly. Now it takes a couple minutes before any portals actually start opening to the altars. However, I can still fill up all my pouches and inventory here first, just while I'm kind of while you're here waiting. And so I will start as if I'm already in a portal, taking advantage of the free essence that I can mine directly. So I'll fill up my pouches here, and then I'll continue to fill up my inventory here. I'll destroy my binding necklace at about 1 charge left because I don't want to start crafting combo runes when my necklace is going to run out, because I do that in about 3 sessions worth, and if it breaks, then I have to re-equip it in the middle of like mashing combo runes to the altar. So I just like to destroy it and get a clean one with 16 charges, so that when I use 3 sessions worth on the altar, it uses 3 charges, which takes me to 13, and then so that goes down in multiples of 3, so it would go to 10, and then 7, and then 4, and then 1, and then that's when I break it. Now if you just have the 3 pouches, you can do it in 2 sessions, 2 chunks rather. So your necklace should go down in segments of 2, so from 16, 14, 12, all the way down to 0, and then it just breaks on its own. So you typically won't have to destroy it unless you made some type of mistake and you accidentally just clicked the altar and crafted normal elemental runes instead. You would get an odd number of charges. But so yeah, so after starting in the portal area, when I filled up on essence, normally I don't have all these essence on me. I still need to come over to the agility shortcut area, come down, and I do need to start stacking up and mining the shards still. These fragments, I will still need roughly the same amount. It's just that I'm going to start off the minigame with a full inventory that was free from the portal. And then what I want to do is I want to time that with when I'm finished crafting these and I dump my energy off, I want the very first portal of the game to spawn like right then. So what I do is, okay, the first altar spawned, it was a fire and a death. Now when this one ends, that's my timing, is that when the first set of altars ends, I want to get out of the agility area and I want to start using this essence because the portal is about to spawn. So if I don't take advantage of the first couple sets of altars, then I will potentially miss this portal. So as you can see, the timer on the portal, 15 seconds left, is counting down. However, I should make it just in time here. So let's go ahead and take the portal. Let's go ahead and mine. Let's destroy this binding necklace, keeping it, getting a new fresh one equipped. Basically, I destroy the one in my inventory, and what happens is, because that was my extra that I was carrying. I'm already equipping one. It actually just it destroys effectively the one charge that I had equipped, but because I destroyed the one that I was carrying, it removes that one from my inventory, and then the one that I had equipped goes from having one charge to basically a fresh one. That's just how Jagex has kind of coded the destruction of those charge-based items and jewelry, is that they always kind of overwrite the one that you're equipping in your favor, usually. So it's always just a nice thing. Like if you have a dueling ring that's a one charge, or a recoil ring that's low charges, you can just destroy it, and it should make whatever one you had equipped just as if it was brand new. So I just took the portal, and now we're at the low timer here, so like 30 to 60 seconds. There's still enough time to make a full batch of my own essence here. So I'm gonna make essence on my own, chiseling it up here, filling my pouches, continue to fill the pouches, fill my full inventory again. Okay, as the timer is getting up there. Okay, full inventory on there. I'm going to try to run to this earth to do combos. So again, the catalytic for this round is Minds. So Mind Rune's a very, very terrible rune. Mind and Body are the two worst catalytic for sure. They're very useless. They're also cheap to buy if you did somehow need them, but typically you won't even ever need them. It's just the fact that they're just a useless rune, and they're lower on the XP per essence actually, which actually does end up mattering. So like I would much rather craft death runes because it's a higher XP per essence than say body or mind runes. It's just lower tier. It's a lower level item to craft, therefore you do get slightly smaller amounts of XP. Plus death runes are extremely valuable. Death runes are very expensive and high quantity required type of rune for any Ironman account. So you're going to need to buy them or get them somehow, so it's nice to acquire them slowly through something like this minigame. So okay, so the portal ends. So again, my options here are water and nature. Nature is pretty okay, like they're a useful rune and decent XP, so I will take it over waters. The reason I take it over waters for sure is because I'm crafting combo runes with waters, meaning I can't combine waters with waters. I'm using waters as my combo secondary, so I can only combine these waters with one of the other three elements, so air, fire, and earth. So if I were to go into that water altar ever, I'm forced to just craft normal waters, which is a very low XP first off, and I don't have the option to make combo runes, which gives me more powerful energy to get better reward points in terms of the elemental energy rewards here. So I always like to take altars in a sort of priority stage where like I won't ever do the water altar unless I'm literally forced to, because obviously that's the worst way to gain elemental energy, is to just craft elementals naturally. I would much rather do combo runes, and then if it's like a weak catalytic, that's when I take advantage of going into the elemental to be able to keep up that 1-to-1 ratio of rewards. So to loot, again, the rewards, the way it works in this minigame is you need to do both. You can't just do catalytic. If I just went to every time the death was open, every time the law or nature or chaos or cosmic, those are all catalytic runes, and I would get no elemental energy ever. And then all my rewards would be heavily weighted on catalytic rewards, meaning that I can never use them until I even that out with with elemental rewards. So yeah, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. You need a 1 reward point in elemental and 1 reward point in catalytic to actually loot the treasure guardian right outside the minigame and get your rewards. So yeah, you want to keep that as a nice balanced ratio. Therefore, taking advantage of the elemental when the catalytic is a terrible option is definitely the way to go. Hopefully some more examples of that come up, but for example, one of the main ways to ensure that you're min-maxing your reward points is to know which elements that you don't want to do based on what your combo rune is. So here's a perfect example actually. Currently we have the water and the body opened up, so obviously it will change in 5 seconds, but if it didn't change and this was the set of altars that I had to choose from, I actually would have to choose body typically, because I can gain elemental energy for rewards much quicker than I can catalytic, because I'm doing combo runes. Combo runes have a higher multiplier on your rewards from the energy you turn in. Therefore, basically I'm always needing to catch up on catalytic, it feels like, because when you get minds and bodies, I always opt for the elemental because that's a terrible rune that I don't want. So I end up choosing the elemental in that scenario, and then because it's just, you get such a higher multiplier with your elemental energy being through combo runes, I end up just having more elemental, or rather can gain elemental much more rapidly than catalytic. So okay, so we did get a final portal here in this minigame. There's 92% on the Guardian, so I have to watch that. So at 100%, I'm pretty much going to run out of time here. So I need to make sure that I'm getting out of here and crafting these essence before that reaches full. So even though I'm 1 inventory space short on this guy, don't really care. I'm going to have to bail, and perfect. We got the death altar up here. So I'm going to mash my essence into deaths. Do it on the other account as well. Empty all my pouches, and good. So close to 100%. The minigame is about to end, and I just did an extra little, energy turn in there. So yeah, 586 energy on this account, and 400. So the 586 elemental and 400 catalytic. That's ridiculous. 570, almost 400 catalytic here. That is a massive ratio there. That's so many rewards that I get from that total of energy turn-ins. So I'm definitely doing a good job here of min-maxing my points in the game there. So I had to NPC contact real quick in between each game, because if my pouches are slightly degraded, I want to top them off. I'm also going to bank, loot some rewards, but then pull out a new binding necklace here, because that binding necklace was on low charges, and I like to have a spare in my inventory, so if it runs out in the middle of the game, then I can just re-equip the one that's in my inventory. It's only -1 slot for, my inventory wise. Like, my pouches will still hold the same amount, so I'm not really worried about that -1 space. It is 1 less essence that I can take to every altar, but again, it's only my inventory. It's not affecting my pouches or anything else. So you can see I house stalled. I opened the house interface, and as soon as the minigame starts, it closes on its own, and then you have like 2 minutes to AFK. So this is when I will, I'll take my other accounts, I will grab some birdhouse seeds, I will, instead of just continuing to fletch, I'll take use of the opportunity while I'm AFK. I'll run a birdhouse run here. My other account is up top at the redwoods, so it would be very annoying to run out of the redwoods, go to the bank, gear up for the birdhouses, and then come back here, because the teleport to the woodcutting guild is like all the way out by the entrance. So I'd have to run through the entire guild, get all the way over to the redwood area, and then get back up, climb up the ladder, go up the redwood again, and then sit here and sesh. So I would rather just not, even though I could work in a birdhouse run, it would just take so much time to run back to getting to woodcutting again, that I typically only would do it if what I'm doing is like a bank standing skill or something quick to get back to. Oh nice, we just got an easy clue there, so we'll be working on that soon. But yeah, okay, so back to the Gardens of the Rift. So now that I've finished my birdhouse run, that was about perfect timing. Now I am about ready to exit this area and start chiseling up some essence. So I'll bank my birdhouse loot and then I'll go right back to fletching the maples, continue to work towards that 91 fletching goal that I talked about. So okay, so I'm about 100 seconds here. I'm going to run up. I'm going to start chiseling my first round here. I need to be able to finish this again, like I said, before the first portal spawns. So if you leave at about 95 to 100 seconds, it should work out perfectly. That's what I figured. And I have seen I think it is doable. I might try this next game. We'll do one more game for this video and try to demonstrate a small little idea that I've seen people do, and that is that they mine the fragments on the side until the first portal. So you don't get this first trip in where I do my own chiseling, which it lets you stack up on that essence on the better area to mine it at to a huge stack of fragments. So you will definitely not run out in the entire minigame as long as you're just doing only one of your own sessions between portals. So I have seen people do that. I wonder if that's actually just more worth it. Obviously, I do lose one full trip of energy's worth because I'm not able to do my own chiseling and sneak in that full altar trip before the portal even spawns for the first time. So I'd like to see if that ends up being more worth it. So okay, so again here, I got the worst two, so I would either have to go to the body one and do catalytic, or I could just craft waters normally. Again, I don't hate doing waters, but my other option is mind or body. Then, it's another way that I can get elemental energy. It does. Unfortunately, you have to just accept that you will most likely not have an optimal set of altars at all times. So I just do whatever I can because I don't want to sit around waiting for the next spawn. It could be as long as 15 to 20 seconds to wait for the next set of altars, which would severely delay my whole rotation at being able to hit the next portal when it spawns. So I don't want to waste time. I'm just going to craft whatever garbage rune that I had to make there, and it's not a big deal. Still get some XP for it, and you still get tons of energy for it. It's just that you don't really get a useful rune out of it. So some of the reward of this minigame is that you're actually crafting your own runes that you can use, and you will bank these runes typically. So like these chaos, these will actually get used eventually in like a Tunic and Shadow. So that's actually really important, and I'm stacking up hundreds and thousands that eventually I will use for some type of charged weaponry. So okay, so we're doing a little bit of mining, waiting for the next portal again. So this was a terrible combo, airs and bloods. I'm forced to do the airs because I don't even have the level for bloods. So whenever it's bloods and anything else, I'm forced to go into the elemental for that round until I'm 77. Now I am closing in on that, 76 on this guy. This guy's almost 76. So, in a short amount of time here, I will actually just have the level to do bloods, in which case I will gladly do bloods. They're one of the most valuable runes in the game, and yeah, it's going to be also the highest XP that I can get per essence, which does kind of matter. So again, I got a terrible combo here. I'm actually seeing as the portal was, or rather the timer on the altar was at 3 seconds left instead of a fresh 20. I actually just ran out of the mined altar there, and I'm going to just wait for the next round, and I was rewarded. I was rewarded with the best altar. So deaths is going to give me a slightly higher XP per essence, and because I didn't waste too much time waiting around because the altars were right about to switch. And actually I ended up not wasting enough time for it to matter, and I'll still be able to catch the next portal after I do my own inventory worth of essence here. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at that clue step. So filling up my pouches, preparing myself mentally. Okay, this is north of Fally, so I will have to leave the redwoods here to do this clue. I do want to do these easy clues as they come up because I'm trying to get a bob shirt. I have now 3 of my accounts are sitting on an elite clue with the step of using any bob shirt in the equipment. So I really need to do all easies that come my way and hopefully land a bob shirt. That way I can share it amongst the 4 accounts and do that elite step wherever it pops up. So okay, so we're sitting at 100 seconds till the last portal. So that's about when it spawns. Portals spawn about once every 110 seconds. So as the timer goes to the red, now it's available. It could spawn any second now. There it is. Immediately go in. So immediately want to take use of that because they only last for like 20 seconds. So you have to enter it while you have the chance. So I will fill my pouches. And again, it's just a lot of repeating the routine here of take a portal, then do your own inventory worth, then take the portal for an inventory's worth, and then do your own chiseling for the next inventory. So it looks like I can just barely sneak into this air. The nature altar is actually a little bit further out of the way. It's in the back right corner, so it can be harder to reach. That actually does matter, like where the altars are. So the ones up in the front row here, like the air, the mind, body, cosmic, chaos, those are all very close by in proximity to where I'm chiseling at. Therefore, it actually takes a lot less time to like get in there. So if the altars are going to switch in 5 seconds, I don't have time to run all the way back to the fire altar. It's actually the fire and the nature and the law are some of the furthest ones. So you actually have to consider how far away it is. Even the earth one, it takes at least like 6 seconds to get there. So, but these ones I could run to in just like 3 seconds. So as strange as it does sound, it actually does matter where the altars are located in this giant circle as to which ones you can enter. Now, see, this was a fresh spawn, so I have plenty of time to get all the way back here for the fire. Again, Mind is a terrible rune, so I would rather do catalytics on other things like deaths or law runes. So I'm going to take the time here to do my elemental combo runes, which will get me a ton of good energy for the elemental runes. We'll destroy that binding necklace because it was only on 1 charge left. So the minigame is going to wind down here. I'm basically out of essence, and there's only 5% left until the minigame ends. So pretty much nothing I can do here. I did notice this account somehow had 20 shards left, more than the other accounts, so I was able to chisel up 1 inventory. I didn't even have enough for my pouches, so I'm just going to do one, literally just 1 little session here. Fires, may as well, right? I have 2% remaining. Not going to have time to do anything else after this, but yeah. So I turned it in right before the minigame ends. There it goes to 100%, and what you will see is you will see the Guardian completes the minigame. You get the huge XP drop, and oddly enough, I actually ended up in the portal, but I'm actually going to leave this, even though you can't take advantage of it. So I could take advantage of, you know, already being in the area with the portal and starting off with filling my pouches worth. But for science, I'm going to test out what I was saying before, which I'm going to actually mine until, I'm going to mine at the start until the first portal spawns and see how that works as like a full rotation sort of method. So I'm just going to make sure I do it on both accounts so they're both kind of synced up. They would eventually sync up, you know, even if I had one in the portal area and one had to start here. They do eventually kind of line up again. But
yeah, we'll keep it simple for right now. And that was just the product of one account had 20 essence and was able to do that and turn it in, whereas the other one had nothing. So I had to go through a portal if I wanted to actually get any essence to craft. At the end of that mini game, it was just a weird scenario where one account kind of wanted to make use of the portal, the other one wanted to try to cash in on a small amount of extra elemental energy for rewards there at the end. So, was it worth it for that small bit of elemental energy? I'm not so sure, but, I did it anyway. So, let's actually, while we're doing this, we have about 2 minutes. Let's try to knock out this clue. I keep misclicking the wrong area. So I'll tell you to Farming Guild, which is a faster bank. And yeah, like this is what I do in between the mini game here is that pull out some basic clue items to go start working on this easy clue. Got to dig here, so I take my spade and rune pouch with teleports. And while I'm mining, I'm still fletching on the account that's trying to do the Desert Elite. I am, still. Oh, I just got one right over here. Oh wait, no, that's Varrock East. It says okay. So it looks like we'll go south. And yeah, while I'm AFK mining for the Guardians of the Rift, I have 2 minutes to go do things like any clues I obtained, a birdhouse run like I did just a little while ago, and sometimes I'll even do an herb run, like a full herb run, which does take longer than this 2 minutes that I'm sitting here mining, but I just slowly work it in the rest of the herb run while I'm doing Guardians of the Rift, and just finish that out. It takes about till the end of that Guardians of the Rift game before I actually finish the whole thing, but then once I'm done with that herb run, then I have quite a long time until my next herb run, so it's not that frequent. Okay, let's see. Catherby here. Okay, it says to search this. I do have the stash built, so I gotta start looking back at the Guardians of the Rift now. I will be finishing that clue on the side, but I want to make sure that I hit this first portal. So as soon as the first portal spawns, I'm trying my new little strategy here, and that is to mine until the first one spawns. So I'm stacking so much more essence, or rather fragments. I keep calling it essence, but the essence is the individual ones that fill your inventory. This is the stack of fragments here. I have almost 300. Normally I have about 200, so I have enough here to do the rest of the minigame worth in terms of my own chiseling and such. So yeah, we're gonna take the first portal. Now we're about one session to the altars, less than we normally would be at because we didn't do that first one. But I'm wondering, do I still end up with like a good rotation here? No, I should still be in the good rotation where I can do 1-to-1 ratio, but I'm just wondering, is it worth it? Because I won't actually be able to use all this fragments that I've mined. Having like 300 fragments, it's just way too much. Like I won't be able to use all of that by the end of the minigame, because in taking the portals, you don't use that up. So we'll see how it works out. I will have some extra kind of sitting around. Okay, we finished the easy clue. Deposit that back, and then let's open that. Oh, we just got a wooden shield G, so that's kind of funny. Pretty useless. It's 70k. It's garbage, so we'll just bank it. And yeah, as I'm finishing up my inventory here, I'm going to tele back to the Woodcutting Guild. So got a cheeky little easy clue in. I love to just do the easy when I get it immediately, because I want to be eligible for another one from skilling. So okay, so that altar closed on us. We'll go to the body. Unfortunately, we missed the death altar by just a second there. We weren't quite full on essence, so we did miss it, but it's okay. We'll still get catalytic energy just the same from doing body runes. It's just that we won't get nice useful death runes instead. So I will deposit my runes here. Let's and then we'll start mining and wait for the portal here. Although, see, this session of mining that I'm doing here, like, this doesn't really matter. I'm just waiting for a portal because I already have enough essence. So, okay, we got a portal. Let's start mining this, and we'll continue to fletch and woodcut on the alts on the side. So I'm back to my redwood spot, here to just sesh out AFK. That account's chilling. Now we're back to the Guardians of the Rift, full focus. And yeah, it's very intense. It's very, like, this minigame is pretty click intensive and focus intensive. Like, I need to put a lot of my mental capacity into doing this minigame properly, like constantly emptying pouches and crafting on the altar, escaping through the portal again, going through, dumping into the center. Okay, now we just came out of a portal, so we have to do one session where we chisel our own. And yeah, while I'm doing that, I pull out more logs to fletch here on the fletching account. And again, we're in this constant cycle of, like, while I have small times of AFK, I'm trying to, do what I can on the alts on the side. And again, this is just to complete Guardians of the Rift. This won't be like a permanent thing, but right now I am trying to just finish off 77 runecraft plus the full outfit. Once I have the full outfit, I will be well above 77 because I came here at such a high level due to Tears of Gothics. So what's actually will happen is I'll be well above 77, but I want the full outfit so that way when I turn to just camping at Zaya Bloods, I have that extra, like, rune increase. You get extra runes crafted for wearing pieces of the robes. So yeah, so here I noticed the timer was still in like 70. Again, I just have so many fragments from mining, so this is going to kind of throw off the timing. If I completely fill up here, then I'm going to miss the next portal, so I'm actually going to go a little early. So there's the portal. Oh geez, that's bad. It closed at the last tick from my other account, but it's fine. We should still have time here, so I only got 43 out of my 50 taken care of, but I do need to hit this portal up, so I need to kind of end this trip early and be able to hit this portal. Am able to just get it, so I did end my, like, chiseling session there a little bit early, but it was so that I can still catch the portal and get a full inventory worth through this. And yeah, some of these pouches are full still because I didn't even empty them all at the Mind Rune altar. I was so focused on just catching the portal before it despawns rather than min-maxing that specific trip. Now I do have to dump my energy before I go back in. And yeah, this is, that's one of those decisions, like, I don't know, will it be worth it? We'll see when I look at my points totals at the end here, but yeah, trying out something new, it could be worth it. It might be the meta, it might be the actual best thing, but yeah, it makes me want to use all these fragments, and I typically can't, so it kind of baits me and making me think that, like, I need to use them, I need to make use out of them, and you end up not being able to, so it kind of feels like a waste, but maybe it isn't. But again, it kind of is a waste because I spent all that extra time at the start where I forego a full trip to an altar and get a batch of energy that I can turn in to be able to do that. So yeah, it might not be worth it actually, but we'll find out here when I look at my point totals at the end. Now this account down below with the broken pouch, unfortunately it's going to be a bad sample to choose from because part of my trips were a little bit inefficient. I'm carrying a few less essence due to that, so we'll get slightly lower rewards. But it looks like my totals are about the same, right? So what did I say the numbers were earlier? It was like I forget, but so there's a portal. We're just gonna skip it because we're already filling up on this chiseling session, and I should be able to catch these next ones. Okay, I gotta hurry up here. I'm gonna take the nature because the nature altar is actually closer to the area where you enter at. So it's only like a couple steps from the actual like entrance portal to the nature altar. So boom, right as it turns blue and the minigame's about to end, I cash in 576 energy in catalytic, 300 in elemental. I think I had like 470 and then like 300. So actually, yeah, that it did seem like I profited a small amount more. 76 RC on the other account, so that's kind of cool. Let's repair my pouch while I'm waiting. And then while I'm waiting for the next game, I have 45 seconds. I have to be back in at about 30 seconds. So this account looted a few times first, so I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to deposit the runes. I'm going to get ready to go in. This account is still looting, but I need to cut my losses here. And by doing this, I constantly, now the reason I want to loot these small little bits in between games is because there's a chance I could get, well, obviously pearls, which allows me to buy pieces of the robes, but also getting a lantern. So the account that doesn't have the lantern, I would like to snipe it so I could start using it for the minigame. If I just held off on all my rewards and did them all at the end, stacking up hundreds, sure, I could do that and then just AFK looting the reward guardian for like 10 minutes straight. But if I snipe the lantern, then I wouldn't have used it for all of that, all the mini games up until then. So I typically try to loot as much as I can in the hopes to get the lantern and start using it. But also, yeah, I'm just naturally stacking the pearls into my bank, which I will eventually purchase the pieces of the robe sets. And just immediately equip it. Each individual piece, so I have the bottoms here and the boots here, each individual piece actually gives a small bonus to your crafted runes anywhere in the game, so that includes here. So I'm just immediately going to equip it, and I'm starting to craft more runes here for free. But then once you complete the full set, you get a small extra bonus on top of the individual pieces bonuses that they give. So yeah, gonna be rounding off the video here. Again, I'm just working on Guardians of the Rift on these two accounts. I demonstrated how I'm able to do this on two accounts. I am still utilizing like combo runes with binding necklaces. It can get very chaotic, but as you see, I have this 2 minutes of downtime. I make use. I go do like a birdhouse run on the other accounts. I go do an easy clue on the other account that's woodcutting. And then by the time they're done with like a small easy clue or a birdhouse run, I come back, I start scaling again to where those accounts are more on the back burner, and then I immediately put my focus back into here. So once again, at that same timing, I have to start leaving this area to start officially hitting up some altars. So yeah, gonna kind of round off the video there. I went over my plans, which was to work on the Desert Elite requirements. That's why I'm stopping on the Hydra for right now. Trying to do Calvite Queen for the D2H so that I can do that step. And alongside, I'm constantly doing easy clues to try and get a Bob shirt to be able to do all my elite clues that I'm waiting on. I have a ton of elite steps on each account nearly that has a Bob shirt requirement. So I really need to get that from an easy clue before I can move on. Otherwise, I would have to drop all of those elites. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. I will just be continuing the Guardians of the Rift until my goal in Guardians of the Rift, like I've said, is to get 77 RC minimum because I want to do Zaya runecrafting at Bloods. But also I want the full outfit, so I won't leave until I have the full outfit and needle on both accounts. But yeah, and other than that, pretty much Yeah, that's going to wrap up the video. Be sure to comment and subscribe if you liked it. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this type of like alting and doing the duo Guardians of the Rift, because it's very click intensive, and I hope that I was able to showcase at least how to play the minigame, even if you're just on a single account, or if you do play multiple accounts, it is possible to do it on both. You just have to make use of the small little downtime sessions to pay attention to the other account one at a time. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to follow some of my other links in the description, my Twitch and Kick, in case you want to catch me live sometime in the future. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.